Hi, we're Karen and Simon.
We're coaches with over 100 years' experience in being human and currently living in Bristol in the UK.
A coffee chat about emotions and being human and the challenges our coaching clients face led us to this series of videos.
We aim to share our thinking and experiences to help you navigate the mayhem of working life. So, let's get going.
Hi, just me, Simon, of course, the better half of Karen and Simon. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's the better half. Outside today, really nice day, and I've been thinking about a conversation I had with a really inspiring family member yesterday about running, and we got on to the little voice in your head that tells you to stop when you're feeling really tired, and there's just this little voice that keeps saying, well, just stop, you've done enough, just stop. And this really nicely links into this first series of videos that I've been doing with Karen about noticing your feelings, your emotions, and this idea of an inner voice isn't new. It's totally normal to experience this idea of having an inner voice. But perhaps what is new to people is taking the time to actually listen, to consider what the inner voice is saying and why. Why is the inner voice telling me to stop when I'm running? So this ties in really nicely with an idea of having beliefs. So beliefs are one of many filters that we put on our life, what we see in front of us, what we're experiencing at the time. And beliefs are based on potentially no evidence at all. They can be based on how you experienced life when you grew up. They can be based on one single thing that happened when you were growing up, or indeed in your adolescence or adult life. So here's the link I'm going to make to limiting beliefs and that little voice in my head when I'm running that tells me it's time to stop. And this little voice, if in my view, is part of a limiting belief that I have in myself. So let's consider a run I did yesterday. Now I'm getting ready for a particular run, and I was on a treadmill. And after about 10 minutes, the little voice started. No, I've had that little voice for as long as I can remember. So I've been able to give that little voice a personality. So I've given that little voice a name. I've given that little voice a face. In fact, I've given that little voice a whole body. And for me, I've decided to give that little voice um, an old hobo cartoon beardy man face and body, and he just pops up and tries to convince me to stop. And because I've given him a personality, a name, a voice, and I've been around that person for so long, I can tell that person, no, stop, go away. And he doesn't ever go away, but what he does is he just backs off a little bit. And sometimes I can still see him metaphorically, I have to say. I'm perfectly mentally well. I can metaphorically see this guy in my peripheral vision, and I can imagine him just hanging around. But after I've told him no, he disappears and he leaves me alone. At least leaves me alone enough to carry on my run. So what's the point? What's the point of that little voice in my head? Well, it's a limiting belief. It's a mechanism of protecting you from something. Here's the difficult bit to wrap your head around for the first time, at least, is that our limiting beliefs, we hold them to protect ourselves from something. So what is that little hairy, beardy man protecting me from when I'm on a run? Or maybe he's protecting me from finishing. He's protecting me from meeting my target. Well, why is he doing that? Maybe I've got a fear of finishing things. Maybe I've got a fear of completing them. Maybe I've got an underconfidence somewhere that even if I succeed with my goal, I'll still fail. Yeah, this is getting complicated, isn't it? But these things are complicated. So when I think about it, I think I have an underconfidence about success. I don't like success. I don't like to achieve things. I like to struggle. And I like the journey of starting something and getting on my way and practicing the running and getting the distance up and getting the times reduced and making my recovery time better. But I don't actually like to succeed. Why not? Because I'm scared of what comes then. I'm scared of the responsibility. I'm scared of the opportunity. So now I know that, I can think about that limiting belief in a completely different way. I can turn that limiting belief into an empowering. I can say to myself, you're in control. You're in control. If you succeed with this run, if you get the time you want and you get the pace you desire, or the whatever it is about this run that is making myself want to stop, I can take back control. And I can say, whatever happens, whatever it is that you are scared of, you're always in control. This is silly. And now I have more control over my inner voice. I can rationalize this, and I can, again, metaphorically, say, it's all right. I'm okay. You don't need to protect me. You can stay there and, and watch and just creep me out, beardy man. But you don't need to step in. I've got this. That gives me energy back. That gives me brain power back, that I'm not being sapped all the time by the inner voice that's trying to prevent me from succeeding. So the takeaways: embrace any of these inner voices you have about limiting beliefs. It is just such a gift. Forgive yourself for having them. Listen, give that inner voice an identity that you can relate to. And I apologize for anybody that looks scruffy with a beard. I don't mean any offense, but that's the identity I've given my inner voice in this sense. And I have loads of other inner voices about all the other limiting beliefs I hold about myself. But that's for another day. Identify the inner voice, give that inner voice a personality, a name, clothes, a house, anything that you can. Then you can rationalize with that more effectively and start to dampen the effects that these inner voices will have on you achieving your goals. So you can contact Karen and I with details up on the screen very shortly. Thanks very much for watching and listening. Good luck in your running, and sorry for any beardy weirdy men. See you later.